The desert highway shimmered in the July heat as the Donovan family stopped their dusty SUV. 6-year-old twins Olivia and Sophia stood at the roadside while their parents were distracted. Dad checking the trunk, Mom scrolling through her phone. One twin pointed to something beyond the rocks, eyes wide with shock. The other clutched her stuffed rabbit, frozen in fear. Neither screamed. Neither ran. When Michael Donovan looked up 30 seconds later, the empty stretch of highway held only swirling dust where his daughters had stood. They were simply gone. Vanished without a sound. 5 years would pass before anyone understood what they had seen that day. Before we begin, creating these stories takes a piece of my heart each time. Your subscription means I can keep pouring myself into these narratives that connect us. Thank you for being here with me. Michael Donovan sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the calendar on his phone. The red circle around next Tuesday's date glared back at him. 5 years. 5 years since the twins had disappeared without a trace. He rubbed his tired eyes, trying to shake the dream that had awakened him at 3 a.m. again. In it, Olivia and Sophia stood by the roadside, one pointing into the distance, their faces a mixture of curiosity and fear. Then they would turn to him with silent screams as darkness swallowed them. The house felt too big now. Empty rooms echoed with memories. Down the hall, his son Ethan's door remained closed, the teenager sleeping late as usual during summer break. At 16, Ethan had spent nearly a third of his life with this black hole at the center of their family. Michael's phone buzzed. Diane's name appeared on screen. His ex-wife rarely called these days unless it involved Ethan. "The realtor needs to know when the garage will be cleaned out," she said without preamble. "You promised, Michael." After the divorce, selling the house had been her idea. A fresh start, she called it. "This weekend," he promised. After hanging up, his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. He answered to nothing but soft breathing before the line went dead. The third call this week. Some days, hope felt like the cruelest torture of all. Saturday morning arrived with brutal summer heat. Michael and Ethan stood in the garage doorway, surveying the accumulated debris of a broken life. "Mom says you've been promising to do this for months," Ethan said, voice caught between childhood and manhood. "Your mother says a lot of things," Michael replied, immediately regretting his tone. "Sorry. Let's just get started." They worked in silence, sorting items for donation, trash, and keeping. Ethan moved methodically through his corner, while Michael found himself frozen before every box, lost in memories. "Dad, what about these?" Ethan called, pointing to a stack of plastic bins in the corner. The label read "Girls, Personal Items." Michael's throat tightened. After the investigation stalled, he'd packed away the twins' belongings that the police had returned. Things too painful to look at, too precious to discard. "We'll keep those," he said. Ethan was already opening one. "I don't remember this," he said, pulling out a small pink notebook with cartoon unicorns on the cover. Michael crossed the garage in 3 strides, taking the book with trembling hands. Their travel journal. "We got it for them the day before our trip." He flipped through pages filled with childish handwriting and crayon drawings. The twins had taken turns documenting their big adventure, as they'd called it. Halfway through, something changed in the entries. The cheerful accounts of roadside attractions gave way to crude maps with X marks and strange symbols. "What is this?" Ethan asked, looking over his shoulder. Michael turned page after page. The maps continued, becoming more detailed with each stop on their journey. "I don't know," he whispered. "They never showed me this." On the final completed page, dated the day before they vanished, a large red circle marked a spot with the words, "Bad man hides things here," written in Sophia's distinctive backward letters. "Dad," Ethan said slowly, "I think they saw something." The garage suddenly felt cold, despite the summer heat. "Get my laptop," Michael said, his heart pounding. "And call your mother." Route 66 looked different in daylight. 5 years ago they'd traveled it as a family of 4. Now Michael drove while Ethan navigated, the twins' journal open on his lap. "They were mapping something," Michael said, gripping the steering wheel. "All those X marks follow our exact route." "But what were they seeing?" Ethan asked. "Mom thinks we're crazy, by the way." "Your mother didn't see the journal." Michael checked his rearview mirror, a habit from when the back seat held giggly twins instead of emptiness. "There's the turnout where we stopped." The gravel shoulder looked smaller than he remembered. Michael parked in the exact spot from his nightmares and stepped out into the heat. The landscape was brutally unchanged. Rocks, sand, distant mountains shimmering in the heat. Sheriff's Department was useless back then, Michael muttered, scanning the horizon. Said they must have wandered off. In this, he gestured at the barren landscape. "Let's check the visitor center," Ethan suggested. "Maybe someone remembers something." The small roadside building housed maps, souvenirs, and a gray-haired man behind the counter. His name tag read Frank Martin, Park Ranger Retired. Michael froze. "You were the sheriff when my daughters disappeared." Recognition dawned in the man's weathered face. "Donovan. Jesus, I didn't expect to see you again." "Life's full of surprises," Michael said coldly. "Like finding out my daughters were documenting something on our trip, something nobody investigated." He slid the journal across the counter. Martin's face paled as he flipped through the pages. "Where did you find this?" he asked, voice suddenly tight. "It was returned with their things. I just found it again." Martin closed the journal. "Lots of people mark maps on road trips. They wrote 'Bad man hides things here,'" Ethan said. "That's not normal." Something flickered behind Martin's eyes. "Kids imagine things," he said, pushing the journal back. "We searched everywhere." "Not everywhere," Michael insisted. "And evidence went missing. Their backpacks, their camera." "Filing errors happen in small departments," Martin snapped, then softened. "Look, I'm sorry about your girls. Truly, but dredging up the past won't bring them back." As they left, Ethan whispered, "He's hiding something." Michael nodded, looking back to see Martin on the phone, gesturing frantically. In the car, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Stop looking." Then another. They saw too much. His blood ran cold as a black SUV pulled into the visitor center parking lot. Through the windshield, he could see a man watching them drive away. They followed the twins' map east along Route 66, stopping at the first X mark 10 miles from where the girls vanished. The location was nothing but empty desert, a small pull-off where travelers might stretch their legs. "There's nothing here," Ethan said, scanning the barren landscape. Michael knelt, running his hands through the coarse sand. What did they see from the car windows? What pattern did they notice that we missed? Back in the car, Ethan studied the journal more carefully. "Dad, look at this." He pointed to tiny words beside each X. Sophia wrote numbers. "And there are symbols. I think they're stick figures." "Dates?" Michael guessed. "Or times."
Maybe coordinates?
"Or," Ethan went silent, his finger tracing a pattern. "Dad, I think they're mile markers." The second location was 30 miles further, behind a cluster of rock formations. This time, Michael brought a shovel from the trunk. "You think something's buried here?" Ethan asked, voice cracking. Michael didn't answer. The twins had drawn this spot with dark, heavy crayon strokes. Something had frightened them here. An hour of digging revealed nothing until Ethan kicked at a rock and something pale tumbled out from beneath it. A small shoe, pink with purple butterflies, caked with dirt and faded from sun exposure. Michael fell to his knees. "Is it?" "No," Ethan said quickly. "Too small, and the twins didn't have these." He turned it over. "Dad, there's a name written inside." The name belonged to Lily Parsons, age 4, reported missing 2 years before the twins disappeared. Her case had never been solved. With shaking hands, Michael called the only person from the investigation who had ever seemed to care, FBI agent Teresa Mendez. "I need to see this map," she said after he explained. "And the shoe. Don't touch anything else, Donovan. I'm 3 hours away. Wait for me." They found a motel and spread the journal pages across the bed. Ethan had been taking photographs of each page, enlarging them on his laptop. 10 locations, he said. "We've checked 2. The twins marked something at each spot, Michael noted. But what were they seeing? His phone rang. Diane. "Michael, what the hell are you doing?" Her voice was tight with anger and fear. "Ethan says you found evidence of another missing child." "The girls saw something, Diane. They were keeping track in their journal." A long pause. "The police searched for months." "The local police?" "Under Martin's direction." Michael lowered his voice. "The same Martin who's now making panicked phone calls because we showed up with a journal." Agent Mendez arrived at sunset, her face more lined than Michael remembered. She examined the journal and shoe without speaking, occasionally taking photographs with her phone. "There have been 23 child disappearances along this highway corridor in the past 20 years, she finally said. "Most cases went cold. Local jurisdictions, limited resources, no connections made." "Until my daughters started mapping locations," Michael said. Mendez nodded grimly. "I think your girls witnessed disposal sites. They noticed something from the car that adults would overlook." "Disposal sites?" Ethan echoed, face pale. "Children see patterns," Mendez continued. "They notice things that seem insignificant to adults. From the car window, maybe they spotted disturbed soil or markers of some kind." "Like someone was burying things," Michael whispered. "Or people." "We need to check the other locations," Mendez said. "I'll call in a team." By midnight, forensic technicians were excavating the third site. Michael watched from behind crime scene tape as they unearthed a small bundle wrapped in plastic. "Human remains," Mendez confirmed hours later. "A child, approximately 5 years old." Michael's heart stopped. "My girls." "No." Mendez put a hand on his shoulder. "Preliminary examination suggests these remains are at least 10 years old, but we'll need DNA to identify the victim." Morning brought more FBI agents and a media circus. Michael checked into a different motel, away from the growing investigation. As he showered, his phone buzzed on the bathroom counter. A text message showed a photograph of Ethan sleeping in the motel room they just left. Below it, 5 words, "Stop looking or they all die." The FBI command center hummed with activity. 3 days into the investigation, 4 of the 10 sites had been excavated. 4 sets of remains discovered. None were Olivia and Sophia. The remains span 18 years. Agent Mendez explained. All children between ages 4 and 7, all disappeared while traveling with families along this highway. Michael stared at the evidence board, where photographs of smiling children hung in a grim timeline. "No," Mendez agreed, "and that's significant. The pattern changed with them." Ethan had been studying the journal obsessively, sleeping little. The twins drew the stick figures differently at the last few locations, he pointed out. "See how they added this detail? I think it means something." Diane arrived that afternoon, her face drawn with worry and lack of sleep. She'd insisted on joining them after the threatening text. "I should have believed you sooner," she told Michael quietly. "All these years, I thought you couldn't accept that they were gone." "They saw a killer's dumping grounds," Michael said. "They were documenting evidence without even knowing it." "But why take them?" Diane asked. "If this person had been operating undetected for years, why risk exposing everything by kidnapping the twins?" Agent Mendez had been considering this question too, because they were witnesses. Maybe they saw more than just disturbed earth. Maybe they saw the killer. Forensic analysis revealed more disturbing details. The victim showed signs of captivity before death, prolonged malnutrition, restraint marks. "He keeps them alive for a while," Mendez said grimly. The implication hung in the air. If the twins had been taken by the same person and the pattern held, they could still be alive, Michael whispered. For the first time in 5 years, hope felt like more than a cruel joke. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A truck stop waitress recognized a sketch of a man seen in the area around the time of the twins' disappearance. "He's a regular, long-haul trucker. Route takes him through here twice monthly." The name matched shipping manifests for deliveries along the highway. Raymond Watts, 58, with a trucking route that perfectly aligned with every disappearance. "We have his address," Mendez said. "Search warrant is being processed." Michael recognized the man instantly from the driver's license photo. "We met him at a gas station the day before the girls vanished. He helped me with a flat tire." Watts' property revealed nothing suspicious. No children, no evidence. The man himself was on the road, unreachable. "He's not keeping them here," Mendez said, frustration evident. That night, Michael's phone received another text, "Looking in the wrong places." He showed Mendez, who traced the message to a burner phone purchased in Flagstaff. "He's taunting us," she said. Michael returned to the motel room to find Ethan and Diane huddled over the journal. "Dad, look at this," Ethan said excitedly. "The last location, the one they never reached because they disappeared first. It's different from the others." The final X on the twins' map had additional markings around it, what looked like a circle with radiating lines. "I think it's a sun," Diane said. "Or a star." "No," Michael said, suddenly understanding. "It's a shaft, a mine shaft." A quick search revealed abandoned copper mines dotted the region, remnants of a boom and bust cycle decades earlier. As Michael reached for his phone to call Mendez, Diane's cell rang. Unknown number. She answered on speaker, her hand trembling. "Mommy!" A small, terrified voice whispered. "Mommy, help us!" Then the line went dead. "It was them," Diane insisted, tears streaming down her face. "I know my daughter's voices." Agent Mendez's team analyzed the call. The voice patterns are consistent with children, female, approximately age 11, the technician confirmed. Location triangulated to within 50 miles of here. Raymond Watts had been located and brought in for questioning. Michael watched through one-way glass as Mendez showed photographs of the victims. "Never seen those kids," Watts said calmly. "I deliver furniture, not bodies." "You were spotted near every disappearance location," Mendez countered. "I drive a regular route. Coincidence." "You helped the Donovan family with a flat tire the day before their twins vanished." Something flickered in Watts's eyes. "Lots of people get flats. I'm a helpful guy." The questioning continued for hours. Watts denied everything, his alibi for the twins' disappearance. Solid, security footage showed him at a truck stop 200 miles away when they vanished. "He's involved," Michael insisted to Mendez afterward. "He recognized us. I saw it in his face." "We need evidence," Mendez replied. The property search turned up nothing. Ethan had been researching Watts online. "Dad, look at this," he said, showing his laptop screen. Watts' mother owned land near here. It transferred to his cousin when she died 3 years ago. The property included an abandoned mine, Sunburst Copper, closed in 1978. Its logo was a sun with radiating lines, exactly like the drawing in the twins' journal. "How would they know about this?" Diane asked, staring at the image. "They saw something," Michael said. "Maybe paperwork in Watts' truck, or heard him mention it. Mendez obtained a warrant to search the new location. As teams prepared, Frank Martin, the former sheriff, was found dead in his home, an apparent suicide with a typed note confessing to mishandling evidence in multiple cases. "This isn't right," Michael told Mendez. "Someone's tying up loose ends." The mine property appeared abandoned, rusted equipment, collapsed outbuildings, the shaft entrance partially caved in. Ground-penetrating radar revealed tunnels extending deep into the hillside. "This will take days to search properly," Mendez said. As the FBI team set up floodlights for the operation, Michael studied the twins' journal again. Something about the drawing nagged at him, small squares Sophia had added around the mine symbol. "These aren't decorations," he realized. "They're buildings." He walked the property perimeter, comparing the crude drawing to the actual layout. One small square was missing. A structure shown in the journal, but not visible on the property. His phone buzzed with a text, "Your clothes." "They're running out of time." The FBI raid on the mine shaft began at dawn. Teams in tactical gear descended into the darkness with rescue dogs and specialized equipment. Michael insisted on staying despite Mendez's objections. "If they're down there, I need to be here," he said. Ethan had made a breakthrough with the journal. "Dad, look at this," he said, showing a page they'd overlooked. The twins had written in their secret language backward letters and substituted numbers for certain words. They saw him burying something at each stop, Ethan translated. But they also wrote about a door in the rocks and children crying underground. The implications were chilling. The twins hadn't just seen burial sites, they'd somehow glimpsed evidence of living captives. Hours into the search, the mine yielded nothing but abandoned tunnels and collapsed passages. No secret chambers, no hidden doors. "We've searched every accessible area," the team leader reported. Ground-penetrating radar shows nothing but solid rock beyond the collapsed sections. Frustration mounted as daylight faded. Mendez received an urgent call and stepped away, returning with a grim expression. "Watts is gone. He was released on insufficient evidence, and now he's vanished. His truck was found abandoned 20 miles from here. He knows we're close," Michael said. Diane's phone rang, unknown number again. "Don't hang up," a child's voice pleaded. "We don't have much time. He's moving us." The call ended abruptly. Mendez's team couldn't complete the trace. "The signal originated from this area," the technician said, pointing to a radius that included the mine property. As night fell, Michael walked the perimeter again, comparing the twins' drawing to the property layout, searching for the missing building. A distant rumble caught his attention. At first, he thought it was thunder, but the sound came again, mechanical, from underground. He followed it to a spot 300 yards from the mine entrance, where a concrete slab lay partially hidden by brush. Beneath years of dirt and vegetation, he made out the faded words, "Pump House 3. The building that wasn't on any current property map but appeared in the twins' drawing. As he cleared more debris, he found a metal handle. Pulling with all his strength, he revealed a set of stairs descending into darkness. His phone buzzed one last time. "You're too late." From below came the unmistakable sound of an engine starting. Michael descended the stairs without waiting for backup, using his phone flashlight to guide him. The passage led to a reinforced door, slightly ajar. Beyond it, a crude elevator platform stood empty, its cables disappearing into a shaft. He called Mendez. "There's a hidden entrance. Some kind of pump house. I can hear machinery below." "Don't go further," she ordered. "We're mobilizing now." Michael disconnected, knowing every second counted. The elevator mechanism was simple. A platform with a hand-operated lever. He stepped on, pulled the lever, and began descending into darkness. 50 feet down, the shaft opened into a tunnel that looked nothing like the abandoned mine above. This was newer construction, concrete walls, electrical wiring, ventilation pipes. The air smelled damp and antiseptic. The tunnel curved, ending at another metal door. From beyond it came the sound that froze Michael's blood, a child crying. The door wasn't locked. Inside, he found a bunker divided into cells with metal bars. 5 children huddled in separate cages. In the furthest cell, 2 girls with matted brown hair clung to each other, their faces gaunt but unmistakable despite 5 years of growth.
Olivia?
Sophia, Michael's voice broke. They looked up, eyes wide with disbelief and fear. "Daddy?" one whispered. "He's coming back," the other warned. "He's taking us somewhere else." Michael tried the cell doors, locked with key-operated padlocks. He searched frantically for keys, finding none. "I'll get you out," he promised. "Help is coming." A noise behind him, footsteps on concrete. Michael turned to find Raymond Watts standing in the doorway, a shotgun leveled at his chest. "You should have stopped looking," Watts said calmly. "This could have ended differently."
Why?
Michael asked, trying to buy time. "Why my daughters?" "They saw me," Watts replied. "At the gas station. They recognized me from earlier that day. They'd seen me at one of my special places. They were watching from the car window when they should have been playing their games." His voice turned bitter. "Children notice things. Details adults miss. Like disturbed earth where you buried your victims," Michael said. Watts smiled coldly. "Only the ones who didn't work out. The others," he gestured to the cells. "Some have potential. Your daughters are quite intelligent. Their little code in that journal, very creative. The FBI knows I'm here," Michael said. "By the time they navigate my security measures, we'll be gone." Watts raised the shotgun higher. "Move to the wall." Michael complied, mind racing. Behind Watts, a shadow moved in the tunnel. Ethan, who must have followed him down. Seeing his father's glance, Watts began to turn. In that moment, Ethan charged, slamming into the man with the desperate strength of someone with nothing to lose. The shotgun discharged into the ceiling as they fell. Concrete dust rained down. Michael lunged forward, grappling for the weapon. Watts was stronger than his age suggested, fueled by desperate self-preservation. He struck Michael in the temple with the gun butt, sending him reeling. Ethan attacked again, but Watts caught him with a brutal backhand that sent the teenager crashing into the wall. "I've managed this operation for 20 years. Watts snarled, retrieving the shotgun. "You think you can stop me now?" A high-pitched wail pierced the air, not from the children, but from somewhere above. "FBI, drop your weapon." Agent Mendez's voice echoed through the bunker's speaker system. Watts fired at the ceiling in rage. The children screamed. Michael, seeing his chance, tackled the man at the knees. They crashed to the floor, the shotgun skittering away. Watts pulled a knife, slashing wildly. The blade caught Michael's arm, drawing blood. As they struggled, more alarms sounded. "Dad," Ethan called, tossing him a metal pipe from a broken piece of furniture. Michael swung it with all his strength, connecting with Watts' head. The man collapsed, blood pouring from a gash above his ear. Seconds later, FBI tactical officers flooded the bunker, securing Watts and the scene. Mendez found the keys in Watts' pocket. The cell doors opened, and Michael fell to his knees as Olivia and Sophia rushed into his arms, sobbing. "You found us," Sophia whispered. "You saw our map." "We knew you would," Olivia added. "We left it for you." Diane appeared at the doorway, her face a mask of shock and joy as she beheld her daughters for the first time in 5 years. "My babies!" she cried, joining their embrace on the cold concrete floor. As medical teams arrived to care for the rescued children, Mendez put a hand on Michael's shoulder. 27 cases, she said quietly. 27 families will finally have answers because your daughters were brave enough to keep drawing their map. 1 month later, Michael sat on the porch of their new home, watching Olivia and Sophia in the yard. Their recovery would take years, therapists warned, but already signs of their resilience showed through the trauma. They spoke little about their captivity, but bits emerged in therapy: how they'd created elaborate fantasy worlds to survive, how they'd kept track of time by counting meals, how they'd never stopped believing someone would find them. Inside, Diane prepared dinner. The divorce papers remained unsigned, their relationship transformed by shared purpose and rediscovered connection. Ethan emerged from the house, carrying drinks. At 16, he'd shown courage beyond his years, his bond with his sisters strengthening daily as he helped them readjust to the world. "The FBI called," he said, sitting beside his father. "They've connected Watts to 34 cases across 7 states, some going back 30 years. "And Martin?" Michael asked. "Autopsy confirmed it wasn't suicide. Watts had an accomplice who's still out there. They're looking at other law enforcement connections." The investigation had revealed a network more extensive than anyone imagined. Corrupt officials who'd redirected investigations, trucking companies that provided alibis, property records falsified to hide the bunker's existence. Sophia approached, sitting on Michael's lap despite being nearly 12, making up for lost time. "We weren't supposed to be taken," she said quietly. "We hid because we saw him with another little girl. He spotted us watching." "You were witnesses," Michael said, holding her close. "We knew you'd find the map eventually," she replied. "We made it special so you'd notice." In the distance, storm clouds gathered over the mountains, but here, in this moment, the darkness had finally receded, making way for light. That's the end of the story. What would you have done if you found a mysterious map drawn by your missing loved ones? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want more gripping mysteries like this, hit subscribe, then click to discover our next haunting tale.